Good morning, everyone. This is Deacon Steve. I wanted to take this opportunity to wish all of you a happy Easter. Yesterday was, I think, a beautiful day, certainly beginning with the liturgy with Father Carl. Uh, the weather as well was very nice here. I guess I want to thank Father Carl, certainly Melissa and Claire for all the work that they have done. The liturgies I thought were just beautiful, and yesterday was a wonderful time. For me, it's certainly the high point of the liturgical year, and the Mass was just wonderful. So thank you, Father Carl. Claire, Melissa, thank you very much for, I know, all the work that you've done. And I guess for me it was a sad note as well, in that it was difficult for me not to participate. My family and I have decided that we will uh, quarantine, I guess, and shelter in place, uh, just to protect our granddaughter, who's especially vulnerable. But it just makes it difficult not being able to participate in the various liturgies. Certainly, for me, it's the deacon's role to sing the Exultet. I know the cantor did a wonderful job, but on Saturday, but it was still difficult for me not to be able to do that and to proclaim the Christ candle. Well, I guess for me, yesterday was certainly a high point, as I noted, and it comes certainly at an important time. We have struggled through this Lent, I think, struggled through the Good Friday service, the difficulty of the crucifixion, the torture of Christ, the unblemished Lamb who deserved none of that difficulty. But then we are brought to Sunday and the miracle of the empty tomb, and the fact that he now walks among us and is present to us and has overcome death for us as well. I think it's a miracle. And if I could share a brief story, when I was newly ordained, I was assigned to a church in Indiana called Holy Trinity. It was a small rural parish. And we didn't have the priest, our priest didn't stay with us, but was at a parish in a nearby town. And so I got there early for Easter, for the Easter service, and the priest didn't show up. Uh, so we just began. I mentioned that, we weren't sure where Father John was. Unfortunately, I think he has recently passed away, but we weren't sure where Father John was, and hopeful that he would be here. So anyway, we proceed with the service as best we can, hoping that I think the staff were frantically trying to connect with him. Uh, but I remember it was at the point of doing the readings and then doing a homily, and I hadn't prepared anything, so I was just coming up with something, and I talked about the great miracle of Easter, and much as what I just said, coming off of the crucifixion, that sad, dark experience of Christ's death, of his mortal death. And then, of course, the empty tomb, the miracle of that. And as I was, I love to use my hands, as I was proclaiming that, uh, there was a great laugh. The crowd, the congregation just began to laugh. And as I was talking about the miracle, the laughter was because Father John slowly came into the sanctuary and sat down at the presider's chair. So the miracle did happen, and the mass was to proceed as usual. It was, of course, a beautiful experience. But I certainly wanted to wish all of you happy Easter. And with God's grace, God's mercy, God's love, we will continue to persevere in this difficulty. And again, we will be together at some point. Again, the sad thing of watching the Mass was to see the empty church. But at some point, that church will no longer be empty, but again, will be filled, and we'll be able to celebrate as a community. So I wish you all happy Easter and God's blessings to all of you. Until we meet again, see you.